Hey there, welcome back to Melanie Loves Death Metal. I've got a new collection update today. I'm a little under the weather today. I have some pretty bad allergies, and Florida is forever blooming shit year round, and I woke up this morning and just felt like I was hit by a bus. Immediately thought it was COVID due to the fact that I went to the Tool concert exactly a week ago today. However, it's not COVID, it is just allergies. And it's just a new thing that I'm navigating. It sucks. But yeah, there's tree pollen and it's just so frustrating. It's one of the perks of living in Florida. See, I'm making myself cough now. Anyway, I got a new collection update today. All CDs, some stuff that I've been holding on to for a little while. And I finally have pulled the CD player, plugged it back in because I was moving my stuff around and decided to play all these today as I was organizing and doing things for my distro. So a lot of good stuff. I would say there's probably one album on here that I admittedly kind of wish I hadn't bought. So we'll get into that. We'll talk a bit more about that. But before I get started, I wanted to quickly say something that I had hoped I'd never had to say. And I know it is not a troll this time. But it's a little bit of an apology. No, it is an apology. That's what I'm going to say. In a black metal update that I did a couple of weeks ago, I showed off a record that I got from Werewolf Records and admittedly kind of knew that there was a little bit of sketchiness behind Werewolf. However, I had never really dug down deep into that situation or to that whole entire drama. And somebody was nice enough, and it was not a hostile message at all, so I appreciate that. Thank you very much that you took that approach rather than just calling me a fucking asshole in the comments, and shot me a message on Instagram and said, hey, just watched your newest black metal video. I really like this series, don't stop doing it. However, I'm a little concerned because it seems like you are showing off some Nazi stuff, and I kind of was like, are you sure you watched me? Because I definitely did not do that, and they went into an explanation of Werewolf and the ties and the sketchiness around it and how I showed off somebody from Werewolf and more or less insinuated that I was a Nazi sympathizer. And this is probably the one thing that I just don't ever want to have to talk about or make a video on because there's so much of it on YouTube. You guys do not need to come here for this type of a conversation at all. But I am 100% not a Nazi sympathizer. I immediately was upset that I had shown that off, and I regretted it because I should have just known better with my moral judgment there. And of course, somebody texts me, so we're just going to mute my fucking phone now. And in general, I was not too up with the werewolf stuff. I knew that there was some sort of drama that had happened about almost 2 years ago now, a year ago now, I don't know, sometime within recent years, and it had to do with Metal Archives and them labeling them as an SPM, and it just was this huge drama. So immediately I went and I searched it and I found the Facebook thread that Werewolf posted, and it was very cringe. I will be honest. I'm a person that is not going to shame you if you like those types of bands. If I know you personally and I know that that's not your ideology and you're not that kind of a person, and you're able to separate the art from the artist, then that's that. No shaming, no talking down to you. That's your thing. I am that person that is not that. I cannot separate the art from the artist. I have a really hard time doing it when it comes to the racial things, the racial and the bigotry and the hate. That stuff is just, it's a very dedicated line for me that I will not cross. I will not support. I just won't do it. So thank you to the person that reached out to me and made that aware, because I definitely am not a racist at any point have I ever been. And it kind of, it hit a little bit of a nerve for me personally, morally. Had nothing to do with anybody else. I wasn't angry about any of the people that messaged me or anything like that. It's a touchy subject. So, and I was watching Matt from the Dark Path, he did a collection update this week, and in similar situation, he had a werewolf release, and if he had known, he probably wouldn't have bought it, etc., etc. And it was a little bit refreshing to see, that I'm following a YouTuber that has that general same mindset as I do, and I know a lot of my friends do on here. So it was good to see, because that is the one thing about black metal that I absolutely hate, is that it's riddled with that type of garbage, and that I have to do that type of research. It's just it sucks, but it's the world that we live in, and that's just how I deal with it. So anyway, that record that I showed off, I am gonna give it away to whoever wants it. I've reached out to a couple people that may want it. I just don't feel comfortable having it in my collection. I'm not gonna sell it. I'm not gonna make money off of it or anything like that. Some might say don't give it away, don't let other people have it, but I'm giving it to people that I just, like I said, I know their mindset. I know where they're at as a person, and I know they're not a bad person, and they're going to respect it for the music, and unfortunately it's just not something that I'm going to do. So I just wanted to say that, just in case somebody else watches the video and calls me out. I'm not a hypocrite. I just admittedly was just, I knew that there had been a little bit of sketchiness around the label. I didn't dive deep into the label and understand why, and I definitely should have done that, and it's just something that I generally do try to do, but for this particular instance I didn't. It was on Hell's Headbangers. I bought the record. I really liked it. And admittedly, I just, for some reason, didn't think Hell's Headbangers sold things, but I guess they do. Whatever. That's a whole nother conversation. But anyway, I just wanted to get that out of the way. So I will do my best when I buy stuff now, because that just did not sit well with me the last couple of days. I try to be a very person with high integrity when it comes to stuff like that. For me personally, I've had to deal with a lot of issues like that in my past that I've talked about a couple of times on here, and I don't want anybody else to feel like I agree with that bullshit, because I 100% absolutely do not. So yeah. Anyway, moving on. I just wanted to get that out of the way. I guess the benefit of YouTube is people are open and they'll talk to me about things, and that is a good thing that I've enjoyed about this. And a lot of the conversations that I have on camera do carry over into my social media, and people message me and they talk to me about music all the time, and that is something that I've really enjoyed about doing YouTube. And you learn things along the way. And like I said, with black metal, there's a lot of things around it that I just am not a fan of, and I don't appreciate, and I don't like it, and I'm okay with my friends that are able to get over it and move on from it, and there's no judgment or shaming there. But for me personally, I will not. So again, do not be afraid to call me out, because I do need to know those things, and I will do my best to be as aware. And I'm hoping that if I show off something in here in this pile that doesn't come up, because it does carry into death metal sometimes. I mean, the war metal scene has some sketch around it that I am annoyed about as well. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So speaking of Hell's Headbangers, I got this from Hell's Headbangers. It is an artist that is on their label. They released an album last year. I really enjoyed the album. I thought it was their best stuff so far. This was kind of like an add-on buy from a big purchase that I did several weeks ago. Like, we're going on over a month now. Because it was available and I wanted more stuff in my collection. And immediately did not know anything about it, didn't know if it was a record, didn't know anything, like if it was a full length or anything. I just bought it because I knew the artist. So this is Cadaveric Incubator with Unburied Morbidity, and come to find out, this is a compilation of their demos from earlier days. This band is from Finland. They're like a Finnish death grind band, and they had a release last year that was really good. Probably a little bit underrated. I think some people just didn't get to listen to it like they should have, so definitely go back and check it out. It was called Nightmare Necropolis, and it was a very good album. I really enjoyed it, and I immediately kind of just put it on the shelf after I bought it, because it came out pretty early on in the year, and then it got a little bit neglected. So after I bought this and I listened to it, I pulled out their other release, which is right here, so I guess I will show it off to you guys, the benefits of having my CD collection. This was the release that they did last year. So Hell's Headbangers, like I said, is where I got this. I prefer this over their demos. I'll be 100% honest with you. It's good. I mean, yeah, it's good. But again, I just really like where they've progressed into. And maybe this is because this is the first thing I've ever heard from them. So maybe that's a bit of a biased opinion for that regard. But yeah, this is a comp of their demos. I can't remember when they were released, from like 2005, I think. So this band has been out for a while. I admittedly just don't know a whole lot around them, other than that they came out with that release last year. It was the first time I'd ever heard them. A nice little flyer, which you don't see that a whole lot often. It says in here, the demo is from 2005, and then the other one is 2014. So, I mean, it's good. If you enjoy Death Grind, if you know Cadaveric Incubator, you probably will appreciate this. I think I might just need to listen to it a little bit more. I haven't exactly been in the biggest death metal mood lately, as you guys know. So maybe just my mood's not hitting right. But it's in there, and I'm sure I'll probably come back to it again someday and appreciate it a little bit more. But I got it now, and I'm pretty sure Hell's Headbanger still has these in stock. I don't think there was any other records in stock except for their newest one. But they have a couple of splits and stuff that they've done recently. Like they did a Christmas split. I know that. But I haven't listened to that yet. I'm starting to get behind listening, which, you know, I told myself to slow down a little bit there and stop getting so obsessed. So that's what I've done. The next thing that I got is through, where did I get this again? Nihil Verum. I can't remember. I don't remember the label I got this through. I got it directly through the label. This is a band that I knew nothing about. Actually, I should say it's kind of like a one-person band, because he does all the instruments and vocals, and then he has like a lead guitarist. So yeah, it's a two-person band. A friend of mine on Instagram posted about their new EP that they just released on Bandcamp. And was disappointed there was no physical release out yet, and it was just the digital download. So I went and listened to it, and I thought it was great. So then I saw that this CD was available. So I bought it. I don't know a whole lot about this band, but pretty phenomenal death metal, I will say. Very much in the vein of the old school death metal worship sound, to the point of where you might even think that this came out into the 90s and it's not a new band. So this is their first full length. This is Altar of Gore, with Obscura and Obscene gods. Excuse me. And again, I don't know a whole lot about this. I know that they're from New Jersey. They have a bit of a cult following. Their stuff sells out pretty fast. I'm pretty sure this CD has sold out, because when I went and bought it, I saw on their Facebook that they said like, hey, these are almost sold out. And I think this is a repress, actually, to be honest with you. I think the first one completely sold out. So this album cover, I don't know, I just love it. I love the simplicity around it. It's very old school death metal looking. As you guys know, black, red, and white are obviously my favorite colors. It's pretty much what my logo goes by, but I really love this cover, and immediately that was a big part of the reason why I decided to listen to this band. After I saw the Instagram post, I went and looked at it, and this is very good. It is very good. I would say this is how I like my death metal. It's how I wouldn't get sick of it. I don't really get sick of death metal, I should just say. I have moods of certain types of death metal I want to listen to. This is a type of death metal that I'm generally always in the mood for. It is very good. And again, based on the image, it seems like it's just a one-man band, but it does call out that there's a lead guitarist there. So I don't take that with what you will and what you want to call it. This is their only full length. They just put out a new EP. And I think there's a couple other EPs that they have out there. But again, I admittedly have not heard anything else except for this and then the EP that they released. And it was very good. And as you can see, the fucking jewel case is cracked, because of course it is. It always is. So again, I will link what this is, where I got it. I'm pretty sure it's sold out. There's a bit of like a cult following around this band, I've realized. And their stuff can be hard to get. So I do hope that they press their newest EP on a physical format, because it is very, very good. But I'll also link that to the Bandcamp, because as of right now, I don't think they've released anything. So cool. That's a great release. So the next stuff is very popular. I will say it's not underground death metal at all in the slightest, but it's things that I wanted to add to my collection. It's things that I just kind of slept a little bit on, that I hadn't got, and there was a bargain bin of CDs at my local shop, and they had some new stuff there on display for good prices. They beat the prices I would have actually had to get online, because I would have had to pay for shipping and stuff. So I just snagged them and I got them. So this one, You guys probably don't need any introduction to this. Enforced with Killgrid. Enforced is a band out of Virginia. This is their second full length on Century Media, and this was a very highly praised album that came out last year. A lot of people love this album. There was a lot of hype around this album. It is death thrash at its finest, I should say. This album is simply phenomenal. I admittedly did not jump on the bandwagon. I did not listen to it until now, but I just saw it everywhere. The vinyl is hard to find. The Century Media has a pre-order up now, I think, just for a plain black vinyl that's not coming out for a while. Like, it just, people really, really lost their shit about this album, and I understand. I think it's a great album, and I am in such a thrash mood right now that this really hit me when I listened to this past weekend. And it is very, very good. And now I'm going to go back and get their other album because they have another album out. I noticed that Night Shift merch has it in stock, so I'll probably snag that today. If you're watching Kareem, probably going to buy that today. But it's a very, very good album. Like I said, out on Century Media. Century Media seems to be just pumping out a lot of stuff lately. I mean, I guess they always have. It's just not a label that I've followed religiously over the years. Again, a lot of that has to do with the fact that their pricing is just absolute garbage most of the time when it comes to their vinyl. It's just a plain black CD with that logo on it. But again, this is really good. If you're into death thrash, you'll love this. I've heard their single on Sirius XM Liquid Metal because I have it in my car several times last year. And always really enjoyed it. But I just never got around to actually going and listening to it in full and buying it and hyping it up like everybody else did. So finally got around to it, and I completely understand the hype around it. It is very good. I love that album cover. I think it's awesome. And I may buckle down and try and get a vinyl someday, but for now, CDs are the route that I've been going lately. And I've been limiting my vinyl purchases to things that I've always wanted on vinyl. Because I got a little crazy with the vinyl buying last year, so I've been trying to slow down a little bit there and give some CDs some more love. So again, this is Enforced with Killgrid. That is very good. The next three are a band that needs absolutely no introduction, and this spawned me buying the other two. This was also in the shop, so I grabbed it. This was literally the day that it was released that I bought this, so it's going on almost a week now. This is Napalm Death's newest EP. You can almost call it a compilation because it's crazy that it's an EP. Resentment is always seismic. I think is that what it's called? Yeah. This just came out. Like, this is a brand new release. It's basically songs that didn't make Throes. I can never say that fucking album name right. And so it's basically just songs that didn't make their last album. So B-sides, I guess you could say. It's a B-side EP, and it's fucking good. This is really, really good. Like, if you've seen a couple of the metal YouTubers do their reviews, what they're saying is correct. Like, this is a very, very good EP. I honestly was so shocked because sometimes the B-side stuff doesn't really do it for me, I will admit. And sometimes I just, I can pass those up, but this one is really good. Napalm Death, for whatever reason, and people might disagree with me on this, seem to just only be getting better. After all these years, their latest music that they put out is my favorite. Like, I listen to these more than their older albums. Like, I can't remember the last time I listened to Scum. Could not tell you, or you or any of these other first 5 albums that they put out. These newest ones I listen to all the time, and this now is going to be in the rotation. There are a lot of fantastic songs on here. The end song, which was weirdly the single that they put out, which I thought was strange because it's literally not anything like the rest of the album, which is Resentment is Always Seismic, Dark Sky Burial Dirge. It's a very like electronic, weird, ambient song, kinda. It's a very strange song, but it goes well with this. You listen to the whole album and then you get to that final song and you're like, yeah, this shit's good. I'm digging it. I like what they did with this. So again, Napalm Death, I don't know. I'm not like a huge Napalm Death fan. Like I admittedly don't have all of their records. I admittedly have never listened to all of their records. I couldn't tell you a song name to save my fucking life. I obviously know the classics and the hits that have made them popular. I just am not like a huge mega fan. But I really enjoyed this, and it's enough to where I went to the record store that day to see, like, hey, do you guys still sell CDs? Do you happen to have this? And they did. It was right there. So then I grabbed up the other two that they had. So this is really good. I would say probably my favorite song is Resentment Always Simmers, and then By Proxy. Those things are fucking good. And from what I understand, there is a vocalist on here that hasn't done music with Napalm in a while. I don't, that backstory is really bad. Don't even listen to me. Anyway, very good EP. So again, these guys, they just somehow continue to make some of their best music ever. I'll be honest with you, within their discography. So I was hyped up listening to this, and then I saw that they had this available. So of course I grabbed it because I never bought this when it came out 2 years ago. And I remember liking it a lot, and I thought it was fantastic. And again, I think they're just incredible. I think that they've gotten to the point where they've like hit a stride now in their career where they're just making records that are some of the best music they've ever made. So this is Throes in Joy of Jaws of Defeatism. I probably said that fucking wrong. I can never pronounce anything correctly to save my life, even if it's, from America or if it's in actual legitimate English. Language is hard. Anyway, these guys are from the UK, if you were not familiar. Amazing album. This is also a Century Media album, and the fucking prong things are broken, so the goddamn CD just falls out, which again, this is the joys of CD collecting that I don't miss at all. But we're having that issue now. And again, this is incredible. I don't think I need to talk any more about this album. I'm probably the last YouTuber to talk about this album because everybody else has owned it. It has a really nice booklet, though, I will say. Very nice. Century Media. You didn't overprice this record, I don't think. I hope you didn't. I remember seeing the vinyl. It wasn't too bad when it came out. But yeah, so I got this. I wish this wasn't a fucking digipack because I hate them. And then, of course, I got Apex Predator Easy Meat because they also had it. This is their release from 2015, so before this one. So their latest 3 that they've put out recently. So this is another fantastic album. I like this album a lot. Probably enjoy this one a little bit more, to be honest with you. But again, I didn't have any of these in my collection, so they were there. I was on a Napalm kick that day because this had just been released, and so I grabbed them all as much as I could. And that's the back of that, by the way. There is vinyl copies and stuff like that, and Napalm just has way too extensive of a collection for me to start trying to get them on vinyl. That's just too much work. Maybe someday I'll try, but for now I'm happy with just getting the CDs and doing it that way. So then while I was also there, this is another record that has come out recently. Actually, no. Did this come out last year? It looks like it came out last year. This came out last year on Nuclear Blast. This was also there on the shelf, so I bought it. I immediately didn't hear it at all. Just bought it because I knew I liked the band. And wow, I was sleeping on this. Probably should have, checked this out too. This is the new Obscura with a valediction. Germany, band out of Germany. They've been around for a while. This is their 6th full length. Fucking phenomenal technical death metal bands. Progressive to the point in that vein. Progressive technical death metal, I guess you could say. They have the guitarist and ex-guitarist from Necrophagus on here. So again, huge fan of everything that they put out so far. And I just admittedly had never heard this yet. It came out. I was so balls deep into the underground scene that I just didn't listen to a little bit more of the commercially popular bands too much last year, and so I finally got it, and it is very good. Really good record. I've actually listened to this quite a bit since I've bought it, to the point of where I was like, well, fuck, I missed the record that I probably would have enjoyed a lot when it came out, but I have it now, and that's all that matters. On your own time, guys. On your own time. That's what I've learned. You don't have to buy it the day it comes out. And it's very good. Like I said, they have 5 other records. I would say in terms of their discography, not my favorite, but still good. Very consistent band. Really enjoyed them. I like the style that they play, the very technical style. It doesn't exhaust you. It's entertaining. They're phenomenal live. I've actually seen them live several times now, and I forget that. Like, I often forget that I've seen them live several times. They're actually going to be in Florida this Friday, and I thought about going, and then I told myself, no, I can't do it. I just went to Tool last week. I can't do another concert. I've got to wait because there's so many other more that are coming up. So I'm going to pass on that, but if they ever stroll through here again, I definitely would make it a point to go see them. So, very good album. I'd be interested to know if anybody else was into this. I posted this on Instagram. People were like, where the fuck have you been? It's like, in a cave, apparently. I just didn't write on this yet. I don't know. I just hadn't listened to it yet. So, a lot of people have been talking to me about this album now, and we've been going back into the other catalog. So, I might do an albums ranking on that band. I think it's worthy. They have a very good catalog. I really enjoy the albums that they put out. So then finally, this video is long, I'm sorry, I've been rambling a lot. This is an underground band, so we're back in the underground scene. Just came out on Desert Wastelands, so if you're waiting on this, you'll be getting it, tape, CD. This is a band I don't know anything about. I listened to it, and I bought it the day that they released it. This is Vile Rites with the Ageless. So the band is out of California. They're a Bay Area band, and let me tell you, this is not what I expected Desert Wastelands to put out. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Desert Wastelands Productions. They put out, they put out death doom, they put out death metal. It's very good stuff. It's underground. I mean, they did the Solothus represses that I've showed off on here. They did Putrid Tomb last year. They did, what's the other one that was so good that I showed you guys? I'm blanking right now. Dungeon Serpent. That was fucking incredible. Everybody loved that record, and I saw a couple other metal YouTubers on here adding that into their collection, so I was happy about that. And then this came out, and this is a very progressive death metal band. Like, it's progressive, especially the last song, Spectre of Forgotten Light, which is my favorite song on this. This is an EP, by the way. It's a 5-song EP, and it's long, so this should just be a first full length. Just gonna say that right now. But Spectre of Forgotten Light's a phenomenal song. They've got a very technical, proggy death metal sound. And I love it. I love prog. I love when it's infused in other genres, especially death metal. So I immediately bought this as soon as I heard it. And this is probably going to be pretty high up there in terms of those year-end lists that everybody hates, because if this doesn't get more steam, I will make sure it does. I really enjoy this. I hope that other people are taking that seriously, because when I really enjoy something, I really want people to listen to it. It has like this really old school, it almost reminds me of Roadrunner Records CD, especially that. Are you guys ripping off Roadrunner Records? Did I just call you out on that? But that's what it reminds me of. Looks like the band is a 3-piece. Again, this is the only thing that they've released that I know of. I haven't seen anything else, so underground band, just some lyrics in that booklet, and then some liner notes right here. No, they're a 3-piece. So yeah, this is really good. I don't know anything else about it. I don't know if the members are in any other band or anything like that. I really enjoyed it. I bought it. It's still available. It's not sold out. Desert Wastelands is really good about keeping stuff in stock. They have their own website, and they also have a Bandcamp. You should buy from their website because Bandcamp takes a lot of fees. And definitely check this out. I'm glad that I got this, and when I popped this on today, I was like, that's right. That's why I bought this. This is really, really good. And it was not what I was expecting at all. So that's all that I have, guys. Probably, let's see here. I'm trying to think of other videos I want to do, but before I blur about that, I will be back on Marty's stream this Friday. We're going to be ranking the Merciful Fate albums now. We did King Diamond a couple weeks ago. Now we're going to be doing Merciful Fate, which I'm so pumped about. So now I'm back in that realm of only listening to King Diamond's vocals. But I'm really excited about it, so check that out. I'll post all the information in a community post and on my Instagram, and my Instagram immediately goes to my Facebook, so if you didn't put that 2 and 2 together, I have them connected. So hopefully you guys will check that out and you like it. In terms of quality of content on here, I think I'm just going to go with the collection updates for a while now before I start doing anything else new, because I just work as insane right now and I'm recording on my lunch breaks, and I'm hoping to get some other stuff here. I do want to get a podcast on here where I talk with bands, and I've had a couple of them have already spoken out and said, hey, I want to be on your show, let's do this. So I'm getting that worked out and figured out, so hopefully there'll be more different type of content on here sometime in the near future. But until then, have a good one, and thank you once again for all the support, and I'll see you in the next one.